Welcome to another stage analysis video. It's Sunday the 2nd of November 2025. As always, lots to get through on this weekend video. So going to start off with the watch list stocks before getting into the regular content. So Eli Lilly, the first one, LLY, which had recent stage 2 breakout attempt back at the end of September, pulled back into the backup range, is now making a further stage 2 continuation attempt in the near term here. Hasn't yet crossed over the Mansfield relative strength 0 line. You can see in the short term it's been making a sort of ragged base structure, had a terminal shakeout where it dropped off into made a stage 4 attempt to go lower, but quickly shook that off, came back in and started to develop back into stage 1 again. So attempting to move higher in early stage 2, but as you can see it's still got some overhead resistance to deal with at the moment. If we look at it on a weekly basis, you can see that broader structure a little bit more clearly. So we've got this bigger structure that it had been within for, I'll say, back since mid 2024, had this terminal shakeout move as it started to move lower into potential stage 4, but quickly shook that off, started to recover back through again. You can see it started to push back out again and make a new stage 2 attempt back through here. So decent stage 2 move back through 2023 into early 2024, rolled over, shook out, and now attempting to push higher. So if we look at it from a longer term perspective here, see we're looking for a push higher back towards the old highs here at the moment with this one. So we come back to the daily chart from an ATR perspective at the moment. See on the ATR candles, it's just around its +2 ATR level at the moment. So not too extended in the near term at the moment, but it is testing the top of the recent pivot, which it hasn't managed to close above as yet. So needs a little bit more work to do. Could still pull back within in this area here if it still gets stuck in this area. So looking for a continuation move up towards the old highs and for the Mansfield relative strength to start breaking above the 0 line, which is the 52-week or the 252-day moving average of the stock divided by the S&P 500 is how that's calculated. So what's next? NBIS, another interesting one with some earnings coming up in a couple of weeks' time at the moment. This one's had a decent stage 2 move after a pullback into its 200-day moving average, and has continued on with obviously good strength moving, obviously with from the April lows, an exceptional amount up over 660+% from that time. So had a strong pullback recently back to its 50-day moving average, but has recovered back to around its +1 ATR level. So that's this band here. So at the moment, attempting to move back into a short-term uptrend, but still within this obviously sideways range that it's now been since the October top at the start here. So looking on a weekly basis, see on the website that obviously that run from the initial stage 2 move as it started to push out, it's gone a long way there and started to recover through its $100 level, pulling back into that and rebounding back through again. So system software is quite near the top of its group. The group as a whole been doing reasonably well since the April low, continuing to make new highs, consolidating a little bit at the moment, but currently it's the 6th stock in the group behind Palo Alto, Palantir, Zscaler, CyberArk and BlackBerry there. MongoDB, this one's been a tricky one. It's had some violent reactions over the last few years, some gappy behavior. You can see gap down earlier in the year, making a move lower in stage 4 there, then started to recover, started to develop into a base structure and eventually form into potential stage 1, started to make a new stage 2 breakout attempt and is now attempting to make a continuation breakout. You can see 1 ATR level, 2 ATR level there. So at the moment, it's just above 2 ATR from its 21-day moving average in the short term here. If we look at it on the weekly chart, see after moving out into early stage 2 here, starting to make that continuation, hasn't yet cleared overhead resistance from this pivot from back at the end of the year. There was a significant bar range here, so look at that, It's just still within that significant bar range at the moment, right on the borderline of that, and then looking for it to push back up towards those old highs, so potentially back towards the 500 level in this one's case. You can see the moment's relative strength started to break above the 0 line as it moved out into early stage 2. Stage analysis technical attributes are on a 10 at the moment, which is the maximum score. You go from a 0 to 10. So 6 and above is what we consider technically strong. So at the moment, it's in a good technical position, making that continuation attempt. So looking for this to push higher, grind its way back up towards that 500 level at the moment. If it does come back in through here, so if it did start to drop back in the base, then obviously that would turn this into a short-term up thrust, at which point the 21-day and the 50-day moving average are your short-term areas of support here. Then the bottom of the range, if it does make it that far back. But at the moment, looking for continuation